back to Cancel My Stable with Candace. So we're back today. I'm going to make another video, kind of push out these two. I'm going to be out of town. So next week, I don't know what that look like. So I'm going to make these two videos. This video is going to be about story time. It's going to be my first client. And this is referring back to internship. I think I probably mentioned this briefly before, but I'm going to give you the in-depth today. If you're new, welcome. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks for all your support, guys. And then we usually start with check-in. So just tell me how your mood is going. Type it, put lyrics, dance moves, emojis. Just type in how you feel, as long as it's positive and appropriate. You can put it below, guys. I don't have one, so I actually made the last video and I was like, hey, you have to give me a pass today because I really don't have a dance move, because I usually do dance moves for my check-in. So I don't have a dance move, but today I'm just kind of relaxed. I've just really been trying to do self-care, trying to do stress management. It's just been a lot of family emergencies and things, so it's been a lot going on my end. However, I still want to keep going with Counseling Minus the Bull and continue to be on the journey of love, growth, and healing with Candace. So my first client, this is internship, so that means this is not too far off. So in school we have to go, we have our classmates as clients, right? And this is pre-practicum and practicum, and those are the classes. It's called pre-practicum and practicum, where you have your classmates as clients and you kind of have to kind of role play, or you can really use that time to kind of talk about yourself and what you're going through, kind of have some stress management or whatever needed. So that's pre-practicum and practicum. However, internship, my first client, so that means when I'm close to graduation, that means when I was at a private practice doing my internship, and I got my first very client, and it was a couples actual session. So it's a couple session. They young adults, 19, 20, 21 age group, and they were coming in to discuss what's going on in the relationship. They was really big on just doing one session and kind of seeing how it goes, which I understand at that age, counseling is not the most affordable. However, when you start counseling, I think it should be consistent, a weekly thing, and that's usually how I start with my clients. But anyway, so couples. So it ended up it was a female and male couple. The female ended up coming first. We were sitting, waiting for the male to show, and he did. He was actually on crunches. So, that kind of went out the window, like, okay, he's a little late, but he has a lot going on, right? So anyway, still went on with the session. We was a little bit late, but I made it work, right? And basically what they kind of talked about was grief, past trauma, and not feeling like the other person was generally there for each other during those times. So a lot of what I did was having them to just communicate, listen to each other, the listening skills, right? Making sure that each other heard each other. Hey, what did you hear her say? What did you hear him say? And then, of course, couples counseling. So with me, it being my very first session, I didn't necessarily set the ground rules. So this is the area that room for growth always. So I didn't set the ground rule. I definitely don't have problems doing that now. I would stop right in my sentence, like, hey, I really need you to do this. When you come here, I need you to pay attention. I'm really good about this now. However, at that time, my first session, I didn't set the ground rules. So they would argue. And at first, when they started to argue, it was me just sit back observing how does the arguments go, right? However, it got to the point where there were other clients that were present, and you know, with other people who have trauma or just other things going on, anxiety, it wasn't working for some of the clients. So another therapist actually came in and was like, hey, it's getting loud in here. We have to like lower our voices, or matter of fact, let's just wrap up this counseling session. And I was just like, yes, that is truly how it went for my very first counseling session. And I learned a lot, right? I didn't necessarily come in with setting ground rules. I waited and waited until the male showed up for the session. What else? Something that I would have kind of done a little bit differently. Oh yeah, with couples counseling, um, I did allow them to argue so I can observe what it looked like in real time, which I wouldn't have changed, but I would have did it a little bit differently. So with those three in mind, so let's just kind of fast forward to now. So if someone is showing up a little bit late, what I'll do is most likely I will start with the first person, ask her to fill me in, and then I would get that realistic time frame. Like, hey, we have this 53, we have this 60 minutes. Are you going to make it in this time? Can we reschedule? What can we do? If I don't typically have someone next, I would, you know, try to make it work. But sometimes I have back to back to back. So sometimes it just doesn't work if you're not on time. And then, you know, there's all type of policies about if you're not on time, if you need to reschedule, no shows. So it looks different for every place. However, something that could have been done differently. Two, the ground rules, right? So now that I'm kind of getting back into the couples counseling, there's a contract. There is a no arguing contract. My supervisor always makes sure that when I'm working with my couple, that I'm telling them, do not discuss what we discussed in the session during the week at home. So no arguing. You can get them to do that contract. You can get them to also agree not to talk about some of the things that we talked about in the session until we're back for the next session. So that's another way that I could have got something I could have did differently. But this comes with experience, guys. And then the third one, what did I mention? I forgot that quick. What was it? The time? It was some communication. So letting them argue. So there is a time frame, right? Because you do want to see in real time what's really going on. What does it look like? However, setting those ground rules, like, hey, lower your tone, not yelling at each other, not bad naming each other, those type of things. And then also given that time limit. Okay, I was using this time to kind of observe how we go in real time. However, it appears to me that you can work on listening, or it appears to me that you are interrupting, you know, kind of shifting a little bit. So definitely could have cut off a little bit of observing and started with some of my observations, started with some solutions, started with some shift, right? So definitely those are my ways that I would say I could have done it a little bit better knowing what I know now. I'm actually into it almost 1 or 2 years later, I would say. And I'm sure I have so many more things to grow. But this story definitely stuck with me forever. So I'm always going back. It's like, oh, that's my first couple experience. And then on top of that, that was my first client, period, right? Outside of my classmates, outside of my friends, outside of my family, that was truly my first client. So I wanted to do my story time, let you know, guys, that yeah, like it's definitely, each session is different. Not going to be perfect each time. And especially with you being so new and growing as inspiring counselors or a new counselor, it's going to be some times. So next time I was thinking for story time that I'll do my most, well, the next two, I'll do the most scariest kind of session, if that makes sense. I feel like I was on eggshells. And then also a session where I got the most countertransference, where I actually was finding myself, and this was in the beginning, of course, but I found myself having some feelings about some of the statements that my clients was making, right? So yeah, guys, those are my ideas for my next 2 story times. Let me know what you think about this story time, right? My very first client. I gave some things that I could have done differently, how I would have handled it now. Let me know, guys. Let me know your very first client, and I'll be back next time. Bye.